Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Majo to Yajuu, episode 4, in which we will be starting a new arc, if the title is to be believed. The title, the previous episode said, the title of this episode is Beauty and Death, if I'm not mistaken. Something along those lines. The opening act. Yeah, the opening act is the subtitle. So probably a beginning of a new arc, right? Right. What was the previous episode? One moment. She wants some attention, apparently. In the previous episode, we figured out the issue of the witch who was exploding people. And really, there wasn't that much to it. We laid out a trap, kind of, sort of a trap for this witch, or Ashaf did, rather. Ashaf used skin sacks filled with red dyed water to simulate humans so that the witch can attack those instead of actual humans. Ashaf apparently probably already had some suspicions around the grimoire that was also a part of this task, of this mission. And these suspicions were true, because as it turns out, it wasn't really a witch. It was the two adopted sons of the police lady who got their hands on a grimoire, or two parts of one grimoire, rather. Or rather, that grimoire found them, rather than they finding the grimoire. The price for the power that the grimoire gives them was, taking people's lives. And since they weren't able to get any lives, because those policemen weren't alive, they were just sacks of skin that Ashaf controlled, the grimoire turned against them, and they were very much unhappy about it. Probably even less happy about the fact that their mother, that they got a beating from Guido first, and then their mother just shot them in the face. Which, you know, I can see that, because they weren't killing people just for the necessity of it. They were really taking pleasure in it, and they were aiming for people close to their mother, because they were in love with their mother, and not in a way that sons should love their mother. No, it wasn't. Whatchamacallit? What are the types of love? Pathos, eros, something. It wasn't familial love. It was very much, oh damn, she's hot, kind of love. And it didn't really have much of an effect on the mother, surprisingly. No, that would be a lie. It had a positive effect on her. She's positively glowing at the end of the previous episode. So, I mean, sure, why not? Why not? And now we are getting to some other task that remains to be seen. Probably something to do with beauty, if the title of this episode is to be believed. I wonder if the police lady will be a recurring character. Maybe. We'll see about that. Hopefully. I mean, I like her, so it would be nice if she were to reappear. Alas, in the previous episode, in the previous arc, Guido wasn't able to find a new witch, so maybe this time it will be an actual witch. We'll see. We'll see. Probably not the witch Guido is looking for, still, because otherwise we would not have a show, we would not have the source material, even, because it's also very episodic from what I gather. But a witch, probably, possibly, hopefully, we'll see. To see that, we will need to watch this episode, though. So how about... Sorry, I just woke up and my throat still isn't fully operational, so to speak. To do that, you will need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my... Oh, that's the charger. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 4 of Majo to Yajuu in 3, 2, 1, go. Necromantia. Yep. Okay, but it's not like... Oh, I was about to ask, is it forbidden though? At least partially it is. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's not that you are resurrected as you again, but rather resurrected as some sort of an undead. A ghoul, a zombie, a leech, something like that. Okay, interesting. And let me guess, someone's gonna try to attempt necromancy without the consent. And that's gonna be the plot. And we have hideous, so beauty and death, witch resurrecting beautiful people or something like that. I know. Ah, shit. I just remembered something. I was supposed to wear an earring with a chain similar to what a shaft has to this recording, but I forgot. Oh well, next time. Yeah, my tea is still too hot. Yeah, who's this guy? That's what I want to know, because he seems like some sort of an overarching villain. But we don't have any overarching villains. Except the, like, the collective overarching villain of witches. Doing more menial tasks? Seeing how Guido is chewing on her straw, then probably yes. Oh, hello, zombie. Easy. Okay, so they know that. Interesting. Interesting. I expected the police to, like, think, oh, he's a psycho stabbing people with a knife. And then Ashraf is like, oh, it's a zombie actually, and everybody's surprised, right? But no, not the case. Seems like necromancy is fairly normal? Or at least well known. Hmm. Okay, thank you for being their spokesperson. Oh, okay. We're meeting new characters. Another great design of another great couple. I recognize their voices. So are we sidelining Ashaf and Guido for this arc? Yeah. Ashaf and Guido are nowhere to be seen. Interesting. I guess maybe they uncover that a witch is behind it, and that's where Ashaf and Guido step in. Yeah, problem is we don't know who did it. Right? Right. Interesting, very interesting that there's like a legal procedure for necromancy. If you submit a form and chip your undead, you can just have them if you want. Interesting. They should have been chipping them actually. Yeah. Lack of maintenance for once. Does she know Ashaf, I wonder? Hmm. I'm ass- I'm assuming whoever she's crying over is gonna be resurrected. Yeah. Okay, so it's also something, you know, legal or illegal on the basis of the country. Can I get a strand of it as payment? So it seems like we don't really have a witch in this case either. Unless male witches are a thing, which I guess is possible. Are you an undead, I wonder? Yeah, they are people and they deserve your respect. Exactly. With the lantern? Oh, I would have expected some sort of a glow, yeah. Okay, so like a dog whistle. Gotcha. Q and undead. And I'm assuming it's a lot. It is a lot. Holy shit, the entire fucking cemetery. You might actually need Guido's help here. Oh, you recognize someone? Hmm. Fair. I mean, yeah, they certainly don't look like they did when they were alive. Oh, I recognize this voice. Is that, shit, I forgot the name of the voice actress, but Visha uh, from Yajuu Senki. No, no need, probably. Yeah, another monster akin to Guido, probably. Unlikely. Hmm. Right, and they appeared here very quickly, so they probably already were around. Yeah. So probably just the cemetery. Right, so we now have the area where they are, and we can narrow down our search. And that was all that was needed. You completely and totally are. Meaning it was a shoddy job, probably. Yeah. He wanted to make zombies. Okay, interesting. Libera potestas. Dominatio mentalis. Imperium. So they were just resurrected and left to do whatever without any semblance of control, without even a full, proper, state of the art resurrection. Right, if you're planning to use them for a heist or whatever, yeah. Hmm. Oh, interesting. I guess the necromancer has a preference. Are they missing like strands of hair? But the bodies are immobile. Right, and the necromancer is clearly unwilling to do any maintenance. Is that the girl who was crying at the cemetery? Did the necromancer kill her and resurrect her? Through her eyes? Maybe. Probably in an abandoned church, abandoned mansion. Maybe not entirely abandoned. Rot. Dead bodies. Probably storage. Sup, big guy. Yeah, that's unlikely to do anything. Oh, and he's showing himself already. Through a proxy. I guess he's collecting beautiful women? Is that what it is? And he spotted her and wants her? Yeah, beauty and death. Interesting. And that's the fiancé behind him. Probably. Yep. I mean, yeah, for a reason. I can resurrect him. I don't think it's gonna be quite as easy as you think it is. Or, hell, maybe it actually will be. Ah. Interesting. Interesting. From like the very idea that we're completely sidelining Guido and Ashaf, right? That's surprising. That alone is surprising. And then we also have the fact that the new investigator actually isn't like Guido and Ashaf. Interesting. First, though, I'm gonna have to... Oh, come on. I really wanna look up the voice actors again. Let's see. Majo to Yajuu. And we have some sorcery. And final act. Okay, so it seems like every arc will take 2-ish episodes. Alright, let's watch it again, of course. But before that, as I said, I want to take a look at the voice actors. And yes, of course, Fanora Christoffel is voiced by Saori Hayami, who indeed voices Visha in Yajuu Senki, who voices Falin in Dungeon Meshi, Shinobu in Kimetsu no Yaiba, Yor in Spy Family. Yep, I was correct about that. And Johan is voiced by Ryota Osaka, who I recognize as Mao Satan from Hataraku Mao-sama. And Climb from Overlord. Alright. Alright. I got that figured out. So now we can go through this episode. Necromantia. Interesting that there are legal regulations around necromancy. Usually, puer, by the way. Usually, in worlds like that, in stories like that, necromancy is completely and utterly forbidden. To the point where people don't even know about it. The only like legal stipulation about necromancy is no. And that's it. That's the limit of it. And you inevitably have someone who's doing necromancy illegally, because very necromancy is illegal, and you have to chase after them, yada yada yada. And maybe the organization, the good organization who's taking care of all of that, has some necromancer who is like kind of illegal, but they're working for the organization, so they're given certain liberties, right? You know what I mean. In this case, though, necromancy is legal. Only in some places, sure, only under certain regulations, under certain circumstances, but still very interesting. I very rarely, if ever, see necromancy be anything more than just straight up illegal. So it's cool. I really like it. It's kind of a fresh approach to the topic, really. It's forbidden to use necromancy without prior consent of the patient or from a relative within 2 degrees of kinship. Yeah. Necromancer must disclose every detail of the procedure to the patient. Do they have a way to communicate with the dead? Like summon their soul briefly with a Ouija board or whatever and tell them, hey, we're gonna resurrect you, we're gonna do this, and that. Those are gonna be the effects of it, yada yada yada? Or is it like, I don't know. Becoming undead carries with it a grave risk. Yeah, and here we have the necromancer who's thinking of a woman as hideous. I guess he is a collector of beautiful women. That's about what I gather here. That's why he really likes Fenora, because Fenora is beautiful, and he would really like to add her to his collection, probably. Yeah, doing more menial tasks. Again, you can easily tell that they're just doing menial tasks because of how chewed up Guido's straw is. She really doesn't like doing stuff like that. She'd rather be looking for witches. And she's, you know, letting out her frustration on the straw. It's cool. It's nice, like, bit of character, I guess. Undead zombie with a knife. And again, another big surprise. I fully expected the police to be like, oh, thank you for helping us, you know, stop this crazed man who was running around with a knife trying to stab people. And Guido's like, actually, he's a zombie, not a man. And everybody's surprised. Fully expected that, but no, the police knows that this man is an undead. And went without maintenance. It's like common knowledge that undead need maintenance. Crazy. Crazy to see something like that in a show. Resurrection techniques have improved in recent years, yeah, so you don't necessarily see, mindless half-rotten zombies. You can make an undead look like a real living person, and you can even give them free will, etc., etc. Right? Except they need regular maintenance. Yeah, their bodies don't regenerate, I wouldn't think, right? So the necromancer needs to repair their bodies should they sustain any injuries. Rot probably still sets in, so the necromancer needs to stave it off, and so on and so forth. More neglected undead. Very, very interesting that we are relegating this task to someone else. I expected Guido to call in reinforcements, sure. Ashaf to call in reinforcements, sure. But I fully expected Guido and Ashaf to still be involved. I did not expect them to just completely cede the stage for another power couple. And she is the necromancer of Fanora Christoffel, necromancer of the Order of Magical Resonance, and he is just a humble servant. Right. Crazed undead rampages. 6 undead creatures in custody. All of them waiting for maintenance. Again, interesting that the first approach to the undead isn't kill them and bury them again, chop off their head, put it between their legs so that they can never rise again, and just, put them in custody, because maybe there is some necromancer who just, maybe they fell ill and couldn't do the maintenance or something, but, we're gonna hold them for you, like stray dogs, or, I guess depends. I wonder, actually, is there like a PETA organization in this world, but for the undead? They find a stray undead somewhere, they just shoot it in the head, like they do with dogs, instead of taking it to a shelter, and maybe someone's gonna be willing to adopt this undead and stuff like that. I wonder. Curious. If you're probably unfamiliar with the chop off their head and put it between the legs, it's Polish Kaszebian myth, I believe. Yeah, Kaszebian. Łopi and Wieszci, 2 types of undead, where you have, if they rise, there are ways to prevent them rising from the dead. If they do rise, you need to chop off their head with a shovel. It must be a shovel, and then you put it between their legs, bury them again, and they will not rise again. So, just a bit of explanation, I guess. Bring in whoever resurrected them. No other necromancer can do the maintenance. Interesting. You would think that every necromancer can use like a basic restore flesh kind of spell, but apparently no. Only the necromancer whose familiars they are. Interesting to think of undead as familiars of the necromancer. We can't locate the necromancers, right? We don't know who resurrected them, so it's probably been done illegally. Yeah, resurrection is illegal. Strays. So just random people who are resurrected without their consent by a necromancer working outside of the law. Not disclosing anything interesting. Reviving oneself or a relative as an undead person is a delicate subject, sure. Sometimes even all that isn't enough. Strays are people who were resurrected illegally and given no explanation. They don't even fully understand they're dead. And it probably was just one necromancer. We have a list of all the registered ones, where they are, so that we can figure out if we're getting some strays, if we're getting only strays or also some registered in the area. Good thinking. Ashaf knows what he's doing, for sure. And here's a redhead. I don't think we've seen a redhead with whatchamacallit, with freckles anywhere among the undead. This country allows necromancy. I could never afford it, so it's also not cheap, the services of a necromancer. You'll see your love again. Is that its natural color? Yeah, I wonder why did he take interest in her hair. He has a thing for redheads, but she's not dead. We don't know who was buried. If it was her daughter or sister or something, then it stands to reason that she would also have red hair. I don't know. I'm not sure. 4 necromancers in the province. Each one oversees multiple undead, for a total of 21. So like 5 undead per a necromancer. And yeah, don't call them creatures. They are familiars at worst, people at best, and you don't talk like that about people. We're luring out the insane undead with the lantern, and there's a lot, and they arrived quickly. And interestingly enough, there are also men among them, like bold men. So it's not that the necromancer was resurrecting just solely red-headed women, unless those are other strays created by a different necromancer. I wonder. And yeah, he has his thoughts about the undead. Yeah, the undead they go crazy. It's never pretty. They aren't human, so, you know, I'd rather not see my beloved just, you know, turned into a mindless undead lumbering around. Sure, she might look the same. Sure, she might even behave the same, but it still wouldn't be her, right? Interesting. Yeah, I could never turn someone I love into one of those monsters, because they do look like monsters, but as we learn, it's not because of that's how the undead are, but rather because of the necromancer not performing any sort of maintenance over them. And those hands are mirrored. Yeah, they are just mirrored. Interesting detail, I guess. There is a lot around 14. Severe mental degradation. They have no reason left. And Johann gets infused with the, I don't know, lantern particles. And he's doing quite well for himself. Yeah, the area limits our area of search because they have to be within specific, you know, distance from here. And he's just putty in her hands. He absolutely is whipped. Some are missing arms. Yeah. No maintenance. 3 modes. Auto with full free will. Semi-auto with free will, but some sort of a programming like, okay, you retain free will, but you feel compelled to take care of the garden or something, and you have yourself an undead gardener familiar, right? That you can converse with, that has free will, but is compelled at a deep level to take care of the garden. And then fully controlled. Right. Why they were resurrected? Yeah, for some reason probably. What could that reason have been? Was it the necromancer just resurrecting them for the hell of it? Was it the necromancer resurrecting them? Fucking ants got into my candy. God damn it. Was it the necromancer resurrecting them for a reason? And then he lost the reason for having them resurrected. and they are just left to wander. We don't know. But yeah, just being human-shaped and mobile makes them very suitable for any number of uses. From labor, right? 2 hands, 2 legs, and you can already have an army of zombies potentially building your house, or working at a mine, or doing whatever. Make them more similar to humans, and you can plant them as spies in a government agencies, right? Yeah. Even human experimentation. Interesting. You would think that the undead don't have, human-like, whatchamacallit, metabolism and stuff, so you can't, like, test the drugs on them, or, I don't know, test genetic modification or whatever, but I guess maybe you can test transplantation, stuff like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, we hear that human experimentation is possible on the undead. Completely abandoned, might as well be toys. An awful lot of redheads, mostly women. Okay, so he's resurrecting redhead men as well. And he's not necessarily discriminating as to who he's resurrecting, but he does have a preference for red-headed women. I would have thought that he would be resurrecting solely red-headed women, unless those are his familiars, his undead, and the rest are someone else's, right? Maybe there are some just, strays from other necromancers. They were testing their abilities or whatever, and they just happened to be mixed up with those. I killed their bodies, right? Their souls are stuck to their flesh by magic, but the body is inoperable. Without maintenance, they will not move again, unless you missed one. How did they get onto this trail? I guess they went to just look around for the footprints of the undead and retraced their steps. Thank you for coming all this way. He's the necromancer's familiar, but yeah, necromancer is speaking through this body. And he really wants to get his hands on Fenora for some reason. And in exchange, you get your fiancée back. What the necromancer doesn't know is that our sergeant guy really has a distaste for the undead. I'll avail myself of a bargaining chip. Interesting thinking, I guess, right? Like, oh, I have the bargaining chip of holding Johann hostage, and that's how I can control you. So I'm gonna get rid of Johann as my gesture of goodwill. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make... He created a bargaining chip, not availed himself of it. Yeah, do as I say, and I'm gonna resurrect him. And she fell for it. Yeah, that's what I mean when I said that I was surprised that they are unlike Guido and Ashaf. Right? If this was Guido and Ashaf, it would be like completely different. The zombie would have slit Guido's throat. Ashaf would be like, "Is that all you got?" Then Guido rises, punches the zombie, punches a hole through his chest, and we continue to beat up the necromancer. Right? You know what I mean? And they have a completely different dynamic between them, and they behave completely differently. Interesting. I wonder if Guido and Ashaf will even like appear in this arc. I mean, they already have, but you know, in a bigger capacity. Will they be here to save Fenora and the Sergeant? And Johan, of course? Maybe. Now, the Necromancer tells them to get rid of any communication devices, but... the second policeman isn't with them. Yeah, he's not with them. I wonder if he went to notify Guido and Ashaf. Probably. Probably. Exactly what happened. Just in case, you know, just in case Fenora said, hey, you know, we're going after the Necromancer, we might need some reinforcements, call up Guido and Ashaf. Maybe. We'll see, I guess. And the next episode, the Beauty and the Final Act. Even knowing everything, some still offer themselves to necromancers. There we go. That was episode 4 of Majo to Yajuu. Very interesting one. Starting from the fact that we're giving the stage to someone else, not Guido and Ashaf. Not even like, we're not even bringing in new people to cooperate with Guido and Ashaf. No, we're substituting Guido and Ashaf for Fenora and Johan to the approach of necromancy in this world. Very cool, very unique, very new. I've never seen an approach to necromancy like that. It's always just forbidden, just illegal. There is no like legal precedent around it. There is no rules built around it. Like people's understanding of it is none, because necromancy is so forbidden, so banned that people rarely even know about it. Like, they know necromancy is a thing, and they know that it's bad and it's banned, but they don't know that the undead need maintenance or stuff like that, right? Meanwhile, here we have the police be like, oh, yeah, he's a stray without any maintenance. We're just gonna, you know, put them in our custody, wait for the necromancer to come in to take him back. Cool. Cool. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder how it's gonna end. I hope Johan survives. I wonder if it's a ploy. I wonder if it's some sort of a ploy. Because that's what I would have expected from Guido and Ashaf. Guido pretends to be dead, then Ashaf pretends to fulfill the wishes of the necromancer to get into their mansion, and then, haha, surprise, Guido isn't dead, and you're surrounded, Ashaf in the front, Guido in the back. I would fully expect something like that to happen. But with those two, I don't know. I don't know them. I know them on like a very surface level, but I don't know how they will act. I don't know any tricks up their sleeves. Is Johan actually an undead and Fenora's familiar? Entirely plausible. Is Fenora undead and Guido's familiar? Also Johan's familiar? Also entirely plausible. I wonder. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. Anything else that I would like to say about this episode? Not really, I don't think. I think I said all I had to say, so how about we just end it here and you guys tell me what did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that, in the comments down below. Like this video. No spoilers, right? No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord, here also linked in the description. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Majo to Yajuu, but also Majo Record, Shangri-La Frontier, Frieren, Metallic Rouge, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified of when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Majo Record, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can support me on YouTube directly as well via memberships, super thanks, super chats down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB Without a Net, Group Survivor, Zayrainer, Akamancer, Dr. Watt, Marshall, Fessel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to call up a necromancer.